I had to stop it early. I don't know what's going on. I'm not seeing anything on the actual stream. Oh, okay. Well, apparently
Stop it early. I don't know what's going on.
apparently
So I was live?
it wasn't playing the countdown thing. Like it was for you saw it, right?
I wasn't watching. I just was listening. I usually get up
but you
and
can hear it, right? Yeah, on the actual like YouTube stream, there was no countdown.
Are you here, audience? Are you here? Send us a message.
I see 4 people in the audience. Yeah, send us a message. Say hi. Say GM in the chat, please. Because, well, I'm watching it on my phone, and it's working. So that's good.
I am watching the S&P 500 open because the oil services industries ETF that I pounded the table and recommended to you last week is up $50 since then, from 240 to 290. That's a good 8x on the options contract. So.
I don't remember you ever saying that.
I have no fucking recollection of that. Move on.
The lovely thing about recording all of our conversations is that it's all on the record.
Oh, I cannot wait till we have a girl that like goes and gets clips for us. You know,
why does
like
it have to be a girl?
It doesn't. R2.
Sorry, I shouldn't have called you out on that. We'll just get you. All right, show's over. GM guys, yeah, Sandman. I don't know what happened. I could see it playing. I guess Restream rugged me for the first time in a while. Whatever. You want me to play it now? You want to just start the 5-minute timer over? Maybe one day we'll just do an hour of just that song.
It did feel not satisfying. Like I was. I was waiting for that. You know, it gets me pumped. I tried that end part. And I was like,
oh, so you couldn't hear it either?
I heard the music.
Oh, well then I have no idea.
Countdown. Oh, you couldn't even hear the music, is what you're saying.
Yeah, no. On YouTube, it was literally just the green AlphaMint screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. Wednesday, October 26th.
It's Hump Day, and
yes, it is.
It is quite a day in markets. The S&P 500, 350 points off of its panic lows from a few weeks ago, which is a lot for those who don't follow it closely. Crypto, the story of the day yesterday in TradFi or otherwise.
Oh, here we go. He's going to start tooting his own horn. Yeah, no, sorry, keep going.
With an absolute monster leg up. I mean, I was looking for 1480 on ETH. That thing blew right past.
Yeah, I saw someone type in one of the Discord chats like ETH ripping right now. I'm like, oh, okay, let's see that. Let's see the nice 3% jump up. And I was like, whoa, 15%. I'm like, God damn.
Yeah, I think this is really just a sentiment move, right? People, and it wasn't a bearish sentiment people had. It was a crabbish sentiment. People were just like, yeah, sideways forever. I remember the last. So yeah,
it's over.
Sideways forever.
Like it would never come back.
And it's not that is even necessarily wrong if we look out a year or two. It's that anytime something becomes absolute consensus. I mean, every trader on my stream, financial media, everyone was saying the British pound is more volatile than Bitcoin. Crypto is dead. It's uninteresting. There's no narratives. There's no stories. There's no this. There's no that. I'll fade that every time. And it's why last Friday, after traditional markets had put in just an astounding move, and crypto was just like, yeah, we're up a little. We're not down, but we're up a little. I just felt it was crypto's time, and boy, what a move. It's holding this morning. Now, for those that follow along, Microsoft and Google reported earnings yesterday, which on their face have been disappointing. The NASDAQ, which was up a shit ton yesterday, goes into the after hours, gets these reports, and then tanks. We were down 2% in the after hours. But I tweeted something yesterday because, when markets change temperament, especially if you've been doing it a long time, you can feel it. And I will tell you right now that the current leg we are in is not going to end on a day where we open red and then just get redder, and then everyone gets scared of it. It's going to be on a day where we open green, and then we get exhausted by lunchtime, and then it fades red by the end of the day. Today we came in red. I actually expect the opposite to happen. I could see Google, Microsoft, and the whole market being green by the end of the day. But even if it's not, we have now gone from a sell the rip atmosphere to a buy the dip atmosphere, in my opinion. I think that there is pretty clear runway because of the way econ data is structured, because of seasonality, because of a host of things. Pretty clear runway through February, and all dips are to be bought going forward. So this morning, I'm advising clients that we have quite a few themes that we've cooked up during this bottom formation process, and I've basically said on any weakness, add to those themes. As you know, in crypto, I am head over heels in love with Matic, Polygon right now, with XRP, which has some possibly very bullish news coming down the pike, and of course the Alt L1 cycle.
I was thinking about that, and your kind of thesis on XRP.
Yeah.
The price action that will happen should it, have a favorable outcome in its trial, or whatever they even call it. What is it? Is it a trial?
It is. They're being sued by the government for, I guess, insider trading or something.
Right. Okay. So anyways, if that happens, you said XRP would go on a rip. Probably true, but I also just think that it would cause everything else to go on a proportional rip too, right? Like,
absolutely.
I think that it's bullish enough for crypto as a whole that it's not going to cause XRP specifically to outperform anything, because it does just seem like this almost seems like a little bit of a merge scenario, right? Where everybody is just kind of sitting there waiting for, like, what's going to happen?
Well,
what's the outcome going to be? Is it going to work? And if it does work, is this good for everyone, right? And then, maybe like the merge situation, everyone's going to go, well, we expected that.
No, because you cannot expect that a judge is going to decide all cryptocurrency are not securities, and that's the narrative that's going to be spun out.
Yeah, true. I guess that precedent.
This is not the merge.
Is different. Yeah, you're right.
If the merge went splendidly and perfectly, which it did, the end result was nothing happens. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
If this goes splendidly, the end result,
that was the best case scenario of the merge. Right. Nothing happened.
Exactly. The best case scenario here is that we get 2 or 3 weeks of constant think pieces from smart people going, well, maybe crypto isn't a secure. Again, it's not that long term this is going to mean crypto is definitely not a secure, and it's going to be a case by case basis. We understand. But again, if we can at least get a 2 or 3 week news media narrative that crypto maybe is not a security, woo! I agree with you. It's going to be a rising tides lift all boats. I will still contend XRP will vastly outperform. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be 100, 200, or 400%, but I do think it's going to double the debt if that verdict comes in everybody's favor. So we'll see.
I'm so far behind now. Normally, I try and get a tweet up. I try and share the show.
that intro, really.
Yeah, well, because I was like, I'm sitting there trying to figure out if it was working, if we were live. GM Lincoln, good to see you. Sanchez, Brad, Sherwin, GM, Sandman. I already said GM to you. Doing the salute. Boom. Man.
Okay. Snapchat, 975. Oh my God. You don't even know. Snapchat reports earnings last Friday. It missed in a big way, okay? Absolutely killed. It fell from $10.80 down to $7. The Discord and I ran in and started aping. We are at 950 right now. The December 20s are up 13x from Friday. Oh boy. Oh man. It's one of those weeks, baby. Snapchat. Someone made a great tweet the other day, and I want to shout out the homie Nation, who was like, man, you just love a good garbage stock. And you know what? He is absolutely right. I am a trash rummager. It is my favorite thing to do. I hated oil for a decade. I got bullish on oil when it fell to -20. I hated retail for a decade. I got bullish on Dillard's when everyone said retail was dead. All right. I love it. You know why? I just think it presents the greatest asymmetries in markets. How often does something actually go to zero? Right? The moment everyone's telling me something is going to go to zero, I start figuring out where I want to buy it. And same thing with Snapchat, right? I don't think Snapchat is some great long-term buy or they're going to be a big contender in social media. Maybe they are. That's not the call I'm making. One, people got overly negative. Two, China and TikTok are on thin ice with the United States of America.
Yeah, did the ban actually go through?
I saw people through. But understand this.
It did?
One day we wake up to an actual senator proposing an actual ban on TikTok, whether it goes through or not, Snapchat will pop 80% that day. This is just one of my favorite lotto plays right now is to buy some April calls, hold it till April. We are going to get some good news flow for Snapchat. Plus, everyone just got too negative on the stock. Is it going to go to zero in 3 years? Maybe. I don't know. I don't care. I am renting it for the next
Snap.
6 months.
Well, they were actually talking about Snap on the All In podcast. I think this last week. I don't know if you listened to that. Do you?
No, I don't. A lot of people. I listen to as few financial.
You should. I think that you have a lot of aligned opinions, but they also have dissenting opinions, which make good arguments for and against. So it's a good conversation. But Snap was under fire from them for their very, very poor governance structure in terms of the voting shares.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically like there is no influence from the outside over the board, right? Like there's no,
Zuckerberg controls everything.
They have no say. Yeah, exactly. So they were very bearish on Snap. That again doesn't mean that it's not going to perform in the short term or whatever, but it was just one of those. And you also have to remember they're buying for different reasons. They're buying because they're going to buy a big enough stake to have a say. They're going to want to be listened to. They're going to want to be on the board, right?
This is the big knock on Facebook right now. There are a lot of activist investors that want change and want things done differently, but they have no say. It's all Class B shares, and Zuckerberg controls all the Class A. He gets to decide everything that goes on there for better or for worse. You know, when shit was going well and he was a genius, it was for better. And now that they've had a rough one, it was for worse. I tweeted this out last week, and I will stand by it. A portfolio of Facebook, Snapchat, and Intel will outperform every hedge fund on the street over the next 6 months. And I hate these three. I hate them with a passion. I am an Apple maxi. I hate social media with the exception of Twitter. All right. I hate these companies. I also think they will outperform not just the S&P, but any smart fund out there that thinks that they're going to have the alpha this quarter. That's your alpha.
Yeah. I mean, Facebook always getting panned for their metaverse play, but like I cannot in my mind put metaverse, this idea of the metaverse, which I will argue to the death already exists. We already participated in. We are doing it right now in some rudimentary form. It won't look the same in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, but we're already doing it on a daily basis. And all these people are like, Zuckerberg's lost it. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not a Zuckerberg apologist. I don't own any Meta stock. I don't like Facebook, the platform. I moderately like Instagram.
I do like Instagram,
Yeah, and they seem to have kind of put it back on its rails a little bit too. Or
WhatsApp is beloved by most of the world, from what I understand. WhatsApp.
What's that?
I don't use it, but it's beloved. Yeah,
it's a fine program. Those, of course, were acquisitions by Facebook.
Genius acquisition. I mean, you want to talk about whether you should.
People laughed when they said Instagram, $1 billion.
I am
in. Oh my god, the best acquisition probably in the last 10 years.
Oh yeah, that'll go down in the books. And I'm in
Instagram right now. What would Instagram as a publicly traded company by itself be worth right now? 150,
arguably $50 to $100 billion. Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
Easily 50 to 100 billion.
Oh, I think if you're valuing like some of these other stocks at 50 billion. Like, what was Coinbase? Like, Instagram's got to be worth more than Coinbase, right? Like, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a secular downtrend in internet advertising. So that's one reason you're seeing Googles and Facebooks and Snapchats really get hit. But again, these are long-term trends, right? So whether you get a 2 or 3 year decline in advertising spend, that's going to reverse sooner or later. Like that's not a good reason to be long-term bearish. But I'm 100% in agreement with you, R2. I consider the Facebook move very similar to the Netflix moving to streaming move.
Yeah. They were criticized for that too, and it ended up
the stock fell 80%, guys. It fell from $200 to 40. Netflix was absolutely destroyed, and since then, it has been one of the darlings of Wall Street and hedge funds alike. So, and again, like you and I said, we don't like Meta, we don't like Zuckerberg. I've never been a Facebook.
Let's break that down. What did Netflix do when they made that change? Right? They saw a change that was going to, in the very short term, negatively affect their user base because cheap, high quality bandwidth was not as accessible at that time, right? Mm-hmm. There used to be bandwidth caps. It used to be slower. It used to be more expensive to get a hold on it. But they looked at it and said, this is coming. Everybody is going to have it. It's going to be cheap. It's going to be 10 times faster, 100 times faster. And this is how everybody is going to consume their media. But people at that very moment said, for me right now, this is stupid. I hate it. This is a bad choice. This is going to be the end of Netflix. They had everything going for them and they just dropped the ball. And no, Netflix said, this is how the world is going to change and we are going to front run it. I actually do believe that that's what Mark Zuckerberg's bet on Meta is. Now, again, you can argue it to the blue in the face, but in this very moment, you say, yeah, the metaverse, not very realistic. Yeah, the metaverse, not really going to be how everybody consumes their media, how everybody interacts, how everybody works, right? But there is quite a large niche of people that are already doing this. And he is just saying, if, 5% of people are already doing this on a daily basis, and that number is growing, why won't it be 50? Why won't it be 75? Why won't it be 100% eventually? That is the big bet. And now I got to go buy fucking Meta stock. God damn it.
But do you know why this is? They will teach this in econ and business classes for generations. Do you know why this is such a big deal? Because so few companies are willing to do it.
Yes.
Know how few of these publicly traded companies are willing to take that type of risk? The one that jumps to my mind is Apple. You know how risky it was to cannibalize the iPod with the iPhone? You sit back and go, of course they should have fucking done it. Well, guess what? That entire company was the iPod company. You're telling me and the current board you're going to kill our most profitable product?
And the argument was, why are you going to bundle it all up into one device when you can sell it 5 times?
I mean, like, that's the thing. It is so rare in big business and publicly traded companies for them to take these type of risks. Whether it works out for Zuckerberg or not, I commend it, and I do think it's worth a bet on, because if you look at what happened in Netflix, everyone discounted it so much that if you bought the stock on that panic, boy, did you do well over the last decade. And this is why I think the current criticisms around Meta are unfounded, but it's your and not just Meta, we'll talk about the digital advertising space. It's your opportunity. When you see small bumps in the road for large secular trends, and these small bumps usually last 2 or 3 years. So if you're not long-term minded, it's hard to grasp, okay? But this is a very large secular trend that's not going away, and I still think these are the best companies to capitalize off of it. So
let's pull this into our world and talk about, maybe it's not the case right now, but in that bull run, why people were spending tons and tons and tons of money on this prime metaverse real estate in like Decentraland and Sandbox, where they have like an actual layout of a city, right? There's plots, they're next to each other, there are roads, there are streets, there are mainways. People were buying that for the future advertising potential or the monetization of that space, whatever it looks like, whether it's a digital store or, you know, whatever, right? But like, you think Coca-Cola wasn't buying like that high-priced center of the metaverse land so that they couldn't plop down some big fucking Coca-Cola ad?
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That was where they were choosing to spend their marketing budget. They were just, again, trying to front run it. Interesting conversation. See, this is what I love about it. We were just talking about pre-show. Oh, we don't have any topics to talk about. It's been slow. I feel like shit, not to complain. And we're like, just run it, see what happens. And 25 minutes in, we've been having a nice conversation. So there we go. Guys, October 26th, thank you so much for tuning in. It is episode 158 of the AlphaMint AM show. 158. We will be marching towards that 200 pretty quickly at this rate. So that feels pretty good. But yeah, as we mentioned on this show, actually, before we get into that, free market, how are you today?
I feel great, but you just gave me a great idea. Where will the ETH price be at show 200? Let's write down, what will the ETH price be at show 200? Let's think about it. We got 3 shows a week. We got another 40 to go. So we're talking about 13 weeks, roughly.
Yeah, 13 weeks. So,
and
that'll basically
right
put us
at my bull window or whatever. That's
like what, end of January right now?
Yeah, that's perfect. I love it. All right. What's the price of ETH?
The price of ETH at the end of January, guys. And if you have any, if you guys want to chime in with it too, hit it. That's such a tough choice.
Mm-hmm.
This is the ultimate like short-term bull or bear test, right? Because I'm going to say a nice modest 2,700.
I will say 1,800. Thank God. I thought you were going to say 1,700, and I was like, 18 won't matter. This is perfect. We got 2,700 and 1,800. I
think we have a nice run, provided nothing, crazy in the world happens. I just have this underlying feeling that we're setting up for a pretty bullish winter. And again, maybe not all-time high bullish. I wouldn't go that crazy just yet. But like you've said a couple times, I think we have a bit of a runway, and I just think it's gonna maybe this is short-term bias because I wake up and see it up 12%, right? And you just feel good about that. So
yeah, that's fun. All right, so we'll see. Show 200, we got 1,800 ETH and 27. You said 27.
I said 27. Yeah, that's a big gap, actually.
I love it. No, that's good. I was worried we were going to be like $10 apart. No,
yeah, that's boring. Yeah. Actually, I change it back. We're going to 500, baby.
$1,701.
Yeah. Well, you're looking at a nice, modest 10% gain, basically.
20%. For me, and for you, you're looking.
Oh, you said 1,800. Yes, correct. Sorry, you're right.
Yeah, you're looking at 50%. I actually think it'll get above that before then.
Sure. Yeah, this is not what it will hit in that time.
I do think it'll hit 2,000 at some point, but I think it'll have cooled off to 1,800. I'll say 1,800 to be slightly more bullish, but I will stick with my call that Bitcoin will outperform ETH over the next 6 months. I think Bitcoin can get up to 28, 32,000, somewhere in there. And I think ETH can get up to about 2K. I will be very happy to be wrong and R2 to be right.
For sure. Yeah, that's the nice thing about betting that is,
I'm rooting against myself on this one. If it's at 1,200, we're all going to be, that's just going to be
that's why picking the under is always such a good play for something that you're bullish on. If you pick the under, you were right and you win. But if you pick the over, you were wrong, but you won, Yeah.
And it's my honest opinion. I do think that's
why being a bear is easy.
Yeah. No, I do think that's kind of how it's going to play out. So we'll see. It's just very bullish out there right now.
Yes, very bullish right now.
As a CPI. Still. I contend.
Yeah, we're getting that, November 10th, you said?
We're getting the new one November 10th, and people keep asking me what's going on. I am telling you, this is still just short covering from CPI. You don't even know how short people were into. Hedge funds were at record short levels into that CPI, and they added afterwards. I mean, it takes a while to unwind that. Now, for bears, the good news is that if it's only short covering right now, you need buyers to show up eventually. You know, you need actual people who want to buy it because they think it's going to go up. Short covering's great for small legs, but you need accumulation to actually show up, and we're not there yet. I think people are still very wary, and who could blame them? It's, you know, every rally has been sold this year. There's been 3 great local, but you know, if you were just patient, there's been a lot of action on the bull side and the bear side. Because during these bear markets, you get violent snapback rallies. So that, you know, everybody can make money in these type of markets. If you just have to be aware of reality. It's when you're in denial and don't understand what's going on, or you're confused, that it becomes difficult. But there's been great action on both sides this year.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's talk about the last 48 hours, I guess, since we've been on the show, but really the last 24 hours. Yeah, yesterday I saw a post or a message in one of the Discords, probably around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Boy, ETH's really taken off for a rip. And, you know, we've been trading in this sideways channel for a little while. So to me, that means maybe like going from down 1% to up 3%, up 4%. Nice little swing, nice little rebound. Check the price, and yeah, like we were up like 15% or something at that time. And I just went, holy shit, right? Like crazy. Not used to that. As we talked about, all this idea of, oh, the S&P is more volatile, currency is more volatile, crypto dead, blah, blah, blah. It does have a habit of coming back in a big, big way. Don't fade the lack of volatility. But right now, on 24 hours, we are up 11%. ETH sitting at 1529. The last time we were on the show, I believe it was just under 1300. So that is a great little run that it has been on. Bitcoin, sort of doing the same. Definitely not keeping up with ETH right now. It's up just under 6%, but it did cross that nice round $20,000 mark. It is at $20,500 right now. A couple other coins being the recipient of a nice little run, and some of the coins that were down definitely gained it all back. So it is green across the board right now in the crypto market. S&Ps. Oh, actually, I do also want to give a shout out to the $1 trillion mark. We are back above it. I think it's an arbitrary number, but it does feel nice to have a number that ends in trillion. So
I think it's arbitrary in the way most people apply it. I think my favorite way to think about this is that's such a small piece of the financial pie. Like when you look at the world and zoom out, if you believe in crypto, you're still early. I mean, that's the best sign to me, that you're still early if you believe in this thing. The chance that it never gets adopted by the world is there, but hell, if you believe in it, man, this is an undervalued sector.
You know what? And it's interesting too, when I talk to people out IRL about, you know, traditional finance and stuff like that. The concept of $1 billion is so much smaller than it was even like 15 years ago, you know, like, you know, 30 years ago, having $1 million was a huge deal. You were a millionaire. Now it's just like, okay, you got a good salary from Google and you got a couple bonuses.
You're halfway towards retirement. If you have your million, you're halfway to retirement.
Yeah. Now my number is like, if I'm looking forward, I'm like, man, I need to have like $8 million in assets. Like, that's my no retirement, no pension fund or no pension plan goal is like, you better be sitting on 8 million to live very comfortably in your, because you got to remember too, like inflation is going to keep doing that work over that time too, right? Like the dollar value of what it is now in 40 years ain't going to be the same.
Well, when you figure out that calculation, you can calculate it in today's dollars because you're transferring out that value. So you could say,
no, I'm talking about like if inflation stays steady at that point, $8 million is the comfort level, not in today's value.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, when is the next BTC having? I feel like it's a little bit longer than 2023, but
no, it isn't. Right. It's very soon.
Yeah, is it? Wow, that came up quickly. I remember the last one, and it feels like just yesterday. So that definitely always plays a big factor into the market. There was the stock to flow model that people were very bullish on. It got ripped apart in the last bull run. Did not quite obviously perform as well. A lot of people had those targets of well over 100,000, somewhere under 250,000. We did not even get close to that, but 70,000 still not too shabby to hit. But yeah, the BTC having definitely puts a lot of upward pressure on the markets, especially in the short term. Always seems to have a habit of kicking off a bull run. Now, however, we have always been in favorable market conditions when that happens too. So, if you want to go by free markets credence of you're still early, yeah, we do not have enough data points about BTC happening in different macro markets to make that a guarantee. But past indicates, or past, what is that? Sometimes rhymes, right?
Yeah, and I will fade
I
whatever.
feel a lot better about it than not.
I'll fade whatever consensus is into this number short term. I mean, my guess is that the halvening is bullish on a long-term basis, but because it's absolute consensus that it's going to start the next bull run, I'm sure it's going to pop viciously after the halving and then wreck everybody like 2 weeks later.
Yeah, but this is the interesting thing about the proof of work, right? Where immediately, all of a sudden, the price to mine Bitcoin doubles, right?
Uh-huh.
So now miners have to change their selling habits to justify being profitable in mining, right? And it does create this like very high upwards pressure of all of a sudden, if Bitcoin's sitting at $20,000 and the price to mine just doubles, now they can't sell it. Do they just turn it off? Maybe sometimes, but like it does create a weird price action. So obviously the halvening cycle has been very bullish for Bitcoin over the long term. But yeah, there's this like very immediate like switch to the price action that maybe not immediate, but like short term, I should say. So
Yeah.
but you're you know this stuff better than I do. Unlike crypto right now, S&P not doing super hot, down about 0.7%. It was down almost 1% in pre-market action. Not terrible. I mean, this is the normal ebb and flow, but maybe
we're actually at the highs of RTH right now, which is regular trading hours. Yeah.
Are we gapping up? Is that what it's called?
No. So we gapped down because we opened 1% lower than we closed yesterday. So
we're closing the gap. I got you.
Yep. So that's what creates the gap. And if a gap close would obviously be if we got back up to yesterday's closing price. It's all NASDAQ right now. We talked about in the pre-show, it was Microsoft and Google earnings that reversed everything. Like I said, markets were extremely strong yesterday, traditional and crypto. I guess the more interesting thing right now, ETH basically kissing its highs of the day, while the NASDAQ is down 1.6%. So all that, Bitcoin and ETH are just proxies for the NASDAQ or whatever. Earlier this year, it was definitely at a 1-for-1 correlation. It's been at least a month that crypto is just in its own world. It has not particularly cared about the week-to-week gyrations of TradFi. Certainly, if the stock market made a violent move in either direction, I mean, if we go up 20% from here or down 20% from here, you can expect crypto, whether it does it exactly in lockstep, to generally go in that direction. But what happens towards the end of trends is that the correlations that have become sacrosanct start to break down. You're seeing that right now in dollar and bonds. For the last 2 weeks, dollars and bonds have been going in the wrong direction. It should have been more risk off. Rates were going higher. Dollar was getting stronger. It was the exact opposite of what people wanted to see. Market's up 350 S&P points in that time. Makes no sense. Today, bond rates are finally down. The dollar's getting killed, and the market opens down 1%. If you finally gave yourself to the idea of the correlation that when rates go up, stocks go down, and vice versa, you've been killed the last 2 weeks. And the same with crypto. If you were like, okay, I'm going to buy crypto when the NASDAQ is up and sell it when the NASDAQ is down, you got killed. Towards the end of trends, correlations break down and start punishing anybody who was late to the trend or who has stayed there too long. And that's what you've been seeing over the last.
That's a great point. Yeah,
yeah,
that is a great point. That consensus does kind of build to a head and then does break down, because it can't just be common knowledge that everybody knows and everybody starts trading that way. Yeah, it's just too easy. It can't simply work like that. So that is, and actually I've seen that conversation going on Twitter a lot right now. It's just like, guys, once you see everybody talking about it, just chill out and don't ape in. Like you're now the exit liquidity, or you're now the
fade
top,
it.
right?
I mean, if
like,
you really got to
fade it, right?
And you're,
but that's hard. That's hard when everybody you see and everybody you followed starts talking one way. You have to slam on the brakes and pull a U-turn and say, I don't want to go that way anymore. There's nuance, and that's why it's tricky. It's hard.
There's nuance to it. I got bearish yesterday on traditional fund, not crypto. On the S&P, I got bearish yesterday while everyone had finally I've been pounding the table for 2 weeks to get bullish. I've been jeered. I've been ignored. I've been laughed at. Yeah. Yesterday, consensus flipped bullish, and I want to start selling things, okay? I want to start looking for shorts, all right? And the thing is, there's so much nuance to it. It's not just being a contrarian. In fact, if you look, the trend is right most of the time. It is not that you should always go against a trend. Traditionally, markets support trends when there's disagreement, okay? So it behooves you to follow that trend. But once you become experienced enough to understand when something has become consensus, and the problem is, people will tell you something is consensus for weeks. You'll hear, wow, market just ramped all of a sudden. You will hear, you will hear people tell you, everyone's bearish, or everyone's bullish. You hear people saying that shit every day, even if it's true or not. Like, it's crazy to me. But once you really get the experience to know when everyone is bearish or bullish, you learn to play the turns. And I am not telling most people to try to pick bottoms and tops, but once you've gained a certain amount of experience in trading, it is quite the tool to have in your arsenal. It's learning about how to probe, what to look for and how to probe. Because look, you'll be wrong the first couple times. Like, Paul Tudor Jones is famous for shorting the 87 crash. Well, he tried 4 times in the previous year and was wrong each time. Yet the headline is, PTJ shorted the 87 crash and got da-da-da. But he knew how to probe, okay? He didn't go all in on his concept 4 times the year before. He sensed something coming. Every time he felt it was there, he probed. And if he was wrong, it didn't dissuade him from his original thesis. And it's the same way with picking bottoms. If you know, a weird phrase, but if you know how to probe a bottom, then you'll learn how to play those turns well. So
this was like one of the things about like Michael Burry shorting the housing market was that he pretty much did go all in on it, didn't he? But he had to hold on for dear life. And if it had happened maybe 6 months later, he would have been liquidated. It still would have happened, but he would have looked like we wouldn't be talking about him in the same way.
He started off as a hero and he became a legend. And remember, heroes get remembered, but legends never die. And everyone likes to try to be a hero and get out there and go against the trend. But again, it takes nuance and experience to learn when to do that. And the reason people are so, it's a romantic idea. Everyone's enamored with it, nailing the top or picking the bottom in markets, etc., whatever. The reason is because if you do it correctly, it is incredibly outsized returns, of course, right? It's certainly that, that like magical white elephant in markets everybody tries to chase, but, it takes a lot of practice, and you should not be doing it on your first rodeo. Shout out to the Sandlot, and a huge shout out to Squints, the homie, who is putting out some of the best weed I have seen. If you guys know Squints from the Sandlot movie, he's now one of the premier cannabis growers out in California. His Wendy and his Liz are next level. And of course, the Wendy is a shout out to none other than Wendy Peppercorn.
Wendy Peppercorn?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that is some of the best weed selling right now. So if you are in a legal state, go find
it. The same. Oh, they all do. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
He looks the same.
Yeah, he does. Squints, man. He's awesome. Follow him on Instagram. And yeah, his, there's a lot of
I
quote
don't have it pulled
unquote.
up. I thought I had it pulled up on the stream.
You
There we
have
go.
to be able to distinguish between the celebrity endorsements that are like cash grabs and the celebrities who actually care about what they're getting into. We talk about it in NFTs, right?
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this guy cares. He loves weed. He he cares about he pheno hunted all these strains himself, right? Like, if you guys don't know what that is, that means when you plant thousands of seeds and look for that one special plant that has the looks, the taste, the smell, the effect. It's not easy. The guy cares. Go check him out, man.
This show is sponsored to you by Squints.
Oh my God, I'd be honored.
So yeah, I mean, hey, let's talk about some things changing quickly. And in the past on this show, it was almost a regular news article to be like, newsflash, Britain hates crypto. They're very bearish on it. They're not, they're regulating it. They're cutting down on the advertisements on it. They're doing everything to protect against it. But what's that quote? First they laugh at you, then they fight you, then they join you.
Yeah, exactly. First they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win, or something like that. It's attributed to Gandhi. I don't know if he actually said it, but
yeah. Well, I mean, the hard thing about discerning quotes on the internet, I think Abe Lincoln said that, right? Yeah. But yeah. So obviously, Liz Truss, 45 days in office. Conservative government was elected in Britain, so that was kind of big news. But I think the only thing that we spoke about on this show regarding that was her cutting taxes and raising interest rates at the same time, something to that effect.
Well, yes.
Bit of a controversial move, but
very broke the pound, quite literally broke the pound.
And the pound is and has been for quite some time kind of the pillar of stability in the currency markets.
Civilized world, pound sterling, cable. It was always, revered. Hell, I mean,
they rejected the euro, which was a smart move. They said, no, why would we do that?
It used to be 4-1 to the dollar for the pound. Yeah. I mean, it's great. Like, it was funny. I saw something quoted in pounds yesterday, and my brain was automatically like, oh, that's 3x. That's 3 times. Wow, wait a minute. That's the same in fucking dollars now. Holy shit. Crazy.
Yeah. Really? Yeah. Well, in terms of crypto, Rishi Sunak has stepped in after Liz Truss stepped down. The Conservatives obviously still the reigning party over there, but he is bullish on crypto. He is very pro crypto, and what a flip of the dime. I mean, Britain is a good ally to have if they're going to move in any kind of pro crypto direction, even if it is kind of making their own digital currency. That was something that is floated around, and we can roll our eyes about that because it'll be centralized. It'll obviously be controlled by the governments and whatnot. But I don't think that there's any secret that some of these governments are going to dabble into that. And I just don't think that that's actually a bad thing, because I do think it can be a gateway into actual real cryptocurrencies. But again, this is going to be interesting to see how that plays out, because I think that this is the first elected official of, a pretty powerful nation that is very publicly pro crypto. I can't think of another one.
You just panned El Salvador. No, I'm just
I'm
joking. And let me just say this. I hear things are going great in El Salvador for the average person since they switched over to Bitcoin. A lot of
Are you being sarcastic?
Say that again.
Are you being sarcastic?
No. Dead ass. Go look it up.
No cap.
There was a lot. Yeah, there was a lot of criticism, especially during the crash, because obviously they paid a higher price for some of their Bitcoin and all that.
I honestly think that was the outside looking in again. Like, apparently it doesn't have a ton to do with Bukele, of course, we're referring to. It doesn't have a ton to do with his decision on Bitcoin, but his approval rating is actually incredibly high. The outside world would have you believe that this guy is just in shambles because he bought $40 million in Bitcoin and it went down to $20 million. Like, we're talking about pretty nominal sums. Maybe for that country, it's a lot more than it would be for Canada, United States, or Britain. But again, this you're talking about a leader who's just progressive. He is just seeing the future and where he wants to lead that country, and its citizens have apparently responded very well. And you don't see that when you look at articles, right? You just see bought Bitcoin down bad, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's more to it than that. But yeah, so I don't know. Like, how are you feeling about the Britain thing? Could this, in any way, shape, or form, be part of the reason why crypto is doing well?
Yeah. No, I don't think it's
No.
part of. I'm distracted.
I'm grasping at straws.
It's
Like,
getting
this isn't like a big thesis of mine. Be like, oh, UK's in.
It is getting fucking unhinged out there. We just touched $1,600. The market is fucking rampant. I got distracted while you were talking.
No. This is a nice change of pace, because normally we hit the start and everything just starts going down, and we're like, oh, okay.
God damn! I mean, everything on my screen is pretty much green right now, with the exception of the Nasdaq and the S&P, which are way off their lows and looking like they want to turn green very badly. So this is, I think we've had quite a few articles from Britain over the last year that have been negative, right? It was like, oh, this is the one big nation in the world that really won't give in to crypto. Just every soundbite is negative, and this, hey, slowly, then all at once. We say that phrase a lot, but I think that the underlying movement in crypto is hard to quantify on a headline level until it just happens, and then it just happens. This is obviously very, very positive, and I think most major countries are going to start seeing politicians who are in favor of crypto, largely because they're being bribed. I mean, I know I'm saying that in a crass fashion, but that's where lobbying money is flowing, and good for us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, soon. Just in this article, Trust showed online support for a low regulation approach to crypto back in 2018, but has made few comments on the industry. Besides that, Sunak, by contrast, advocated for turning Britain into a full-blown crypto hub earlier this year. Sounds great in theory, but the underlying justification for that is we want to see businesses of tomorrow and the jobs they create here in the UK. And by regulating effectively, we can give them the confidence they think, or they need to think and invest long term. These are obviously just statements, but this is exactly what you're looking for in terms of, what country is going to be promoting future growth, right? That's one of the reasons why a lot of people are bullish on Austin, Texas and Miami, right? Because they're saying we are going to incentivize all of those people that are being pushed away from their local governments, like a California, like maybe a Canada, right? And we're going to welcome them there. You guys have lots of money. You're innovative. You're forward thinking. By all means, come here, spend that money, create some jobs for us, and we're going to have a great time. England, that's a big force. Like that, England is one of those countries that, like, I would say I would probably move to sooner than like running off to some desolate, not desolate, tropical island. Like, right. In theory, it seems great. Go live the island life and whatnot. But, you kind of miss the hustle and bustle of things or whatnot. Like, hell yeah, I would love to be able to set up shop in like a London or something like that. Like, yeah, bring
London
it on.
London is on an island. But that aside, of all the cities in Europe, and I love that, my family's European. I have French relatives and German and Italian, whatever. Beautiful, beautiful places. Only other place I could live outside the United States would probably be London. It is a very, very similar existence to New York. It's a beautiful city. I love the people there. They don't do coffee very well. This is the one issue. Luckily,
I'm sure you can find a nice cup of coffee there.
I get my coffee shipped from Seattle, which is expensive enough as it is now. I can't even imagine having to go overseas to England. Oh, okay. And remember, guys, if you're buying beans that were roasted more than 10 days ago, you might as well just go dig a patch of dirt from your backyard, run it through some hot water, and drink that. You need fresh roasted beans. The beans. It's the beans.
Real coffee alpha. If Dickenzo was here, he'd say here for the coffee alpha.
Okay.
Last thing I will say is Canada. Canada's Conservative Party also elected Bitcoin bull Pierre Poilievre. And that has been an interesting thing going on here. I'm not going to go in depth with it, but yeah. Actually, you know what?
Are there more French names in the Conservative Party in Canada or the Liberal Party in Canada?
Are there more French names?
Or is it equal? Like there's no discrepancy. You'd say there's just as many on both.
Yeah,
sides.
well, okay, so we in Canada we have the Conservative Party, we have the Liberals, which is your version of the Republicans and Democrats, respectively.
Right.
We also have the NDP, which is the New Democratic Party, which are more socialist than the Liberal Party.
Well, like our Greens, they're kind of our Green. We have a Green.
Well,
party.
we have a Green Party too. Most of these aren't moving the needle, but one that actually does very well, but isn't actually a big enough party to hold any real status in federal government is the Bloc de Québécois. So they are obviously very popular in Quebec. They hold a lot of seats there, but Quebec doesn't even have enough seats, even if they all got elected to hold parliament, like, you know, control parliament or anything like that. So we have a very weird, like 2.5 party system facade, like with the disguised as like an 8-party system. It's a bit of a mess. But then, like, you know, the Liberals and the NDP, the Liberals got elected, and then like 6 months later they announced like an alliance with the NDP, and then everyone's like, well, what the fuck? Like, I just voted for Liberal and now you're partying up with the NDP, and what did my vote do? You know what I mean? Like, it was just like, it's a mess. Our politics are just a mess. That's a conversation for another day, though. Let's get into NFTs. Let's talk about the Reddit NFTs. I think this happened and kind of popped off just after our show on Monday. But boy, that has been the talk of the town on Twitter. Not so much the talk of the town on Reddit, though. I scroll Reddit just for some kind of consensus checks, and every once in a while to argue with some idiots. But and I have not seen a lot of conversation about Reddit NFTs on Reddit. Of course, Reddit is notoriously anti NFT and somewhat anti cryptocurrencies, but I think we're slowly but surely getting there. Reddit did a great job of seamlessly integrating any users that want to participate in NFTs to do so. And this has been a constant thesis of yours, is saying that, you know, eventually once we stop using the term or any like terms for it and just accept that you own the stuff digitally that you have in your wallets and your accounts, you know, it really will be game on at that point. We will have seen mass adoption. Reddit did this thing where they have their avatars, the snooze, and they've had these for a long time. They created a vault. You could create these, you could make these, and this isn't even new, but slowly but surely people started to use them. They turned the vault on and said you can claim your crypto snooze into the vault. Now, the vault is interesting because it seems like it's just this Reddit native application that you're holding all of your stuff in, almost like a wallet. And it is. But you can also display the seed phrase behind that wallet. And lo and behold, it is actually a MetaMask wallet. So you'd be able to input that seed phrase into MetaMask if you so choose. And now you are on the Polygon chain, the ETH chain. So this has been very exciting. There's been a lot of price action, a lot of people buying and trading. Part of me actually thinks that this is just crypto and NFT traders doing the flavor of the month thing. Oh, Reddit NFTs are here. There's a huge supply of them. There's ton of different collections. I do believe that there are a bunch of Reddit users that have done very, very well that will probably be onboarded into NFTs now. But I think by and large, I don't think that there's this swell of excitement on Reddit that there's this, oh, NFTs are actually here, and oh my God, they're actually good for us too. I don't know. What are you thinking? Spending more time on Twitter than me, seeing people talk about them.
Well, I acknowledge the massive onboarding scheme that it was. I think the main crux of the conversation was around that Reddit did not call them NFTs. The Reddit users were celebrating the idea that these aren't NFTs, they're digital collectibles. You had the Twitterati going and trying to explain to them that it was always digital collectibles from the beginning, and then bunch of threads on Reddit about how these have actual utility, and that's what makes them different from NFTs on ETH. I mean, you know, a lot of confusion, people not understanding exactly what they are. I think this is a very large cook in a, that we see regularly in this market. It'll fade away. There's nothing special particularly about these Reddit, as much as they would like to pretend these are special and have actual quote unquote utility. They have the same utility as any NFT. They are fine. They are fine NFTs, I will say. I told you my general conclusion from this is buy more Matic. If you're not putting your life savings in Matic right now, if you haven't gone to the bank in the last week to say
this does not constitute financial advice. I'll just
say, please, how much can I get for a mortgage on my house right now? I would like to buy the native token of the Polygon network. Please go into your bank and say that. Get a loan. Do whatever you can to buy Matic. This is just one of the and I'm being a little cheeky, but I'm also being serious. This is your mass adoption pipeline. They have deals with Facebook. They have deals with Disney. Right. They just launched the Reddit NFT. This is going to be the mass adoption Ethereum, period. So look, I wrote a piece a couple of weeks ago on being bullish on Matic, but this is just continues to reaffirm that thesis in my mind. I've talked about Bitcoin outperforming. That actually doesn't mean I'm long Bitcoin. I've just been using the Bitcoin chart as a proxy for figuring out when to get long XRP and Matic. I just think that the two best stories in crypto right now.
Matic, okay. XRP.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy Reddit NFTs based off this hype. I would go buy Matic.
Yeah. Again, like there's been a lot to kind of sift through in regards to this. A lot of NFT people trying to figure it all out and what it means, what you should be buying, why you should be bullish on it. I think it is a little bit funny that we've become the exit liquidity for Reddit. Love them or hate them. I think Farouk actually had like that a decent idea behind it, not in the scheming, plotting way, but where did that go? He basically just said Reddit sold NFTs to Redditors as digital collectibles. Here's how we bring the bull back. We become exit liquidity for Redditors. They make bank. They become NFT maxis. And I clicked on the tweet. We onboard the rest of the internet. Our bags pump. Short-term loss for a long-term game. I mean, this is kind of the Farouk shill kind of tweet about it, but I think there's a lot of meat on that bone, honestly. Redditors being the beneficiary of some kind of financial gain or even attention gain is always going to make them feel a lot better about a situation that they don't feel good about, right? Like, I think that that's just how it works. Yeah. And at first they'll make the joke of like, we sold NFTs to the fucking suckers that, have been shilling it. Like, look at us go. We got the last laugh. Ha 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 ha. Now what do I do with all this money?
Yep.
Right? Oh, wow. You now have a wallet with ETH in it. Oh, what do you do with that? Do you cash it out? Here's the justification, though. People always do. Well, it was free money. It was money that I didn't have before. Let's see where this goes.
So here's what I will contend. It's the same thing I contended about the Coinbase NFT marketplace, which this is another one of those stories that I think people pan too much. And in the end, I think Coinbase is going to be a force, but whatever. My thesis was that people aren't going to be buying your bags. People are going to be looking for the next Bored Apes. And that's what I think these Reddit people are going to. They're still going to have their hate for all the previous NFTs. They are pretending these are not NFTs. They are pretending that the thing that is NFT is separate from what they are doing.
Yeah. Ours are different because...
Yeah. They are going to take this money and look for the next Bored Ape. So as it is in all of crypto.
Or create their own.
Right?
Yeah. Like, these things come off the back of the desire to overtake another community. Said this again and again and again. Bored Apes made it because they had this deep-seated desire that they needed to be the next CryptoPunk. Or even just Meebits at the time.
Yep.
But so that was that band. They banded together and created. Yeah, sorry, keep going.
That's it. So I just don't think that it's going to usher in this great bull market and all of our bags are going to pump off of it. I think it creates the avenue for a new type of cycle that's going to be spurred by these people, and certainly something to pay attention to. Keep an eye on what they're buying, and the next one that has Twitter buzz, maybe you go into.
Yeah, I mean, we've always been aware of these Reddit collectibles. We talked about it on the show months and months and months ago, just being like, oh, Reddit turned on NFTs, haha. Like Reddit hates NFTs. They're still doing it anyways. Bullish on, the industry. Great cook if you got into it. Might be a little bit late now. But yeah, in hindsight, like, why didn't I go down that rabbit hole of like saying these will be valuable? Because I just didn't think that Reddit was going to be that close to switching over and now participating in the market. Now, as it turns out, I still don't think they really have. I think that there has been a lot of people that claimed it, and a good portion of them are like, wow, I can make a couple bucks off of that. Good for them. But again, like scrolling through Reddit, I just don't see any conversation about this happening in the same way that you go on Twitter and it's all people are talking about. I do really think that these are a little bit inflated because we got excited about them, and we are trying to credit that to Reddit. Not Reddit, the institution or the company, Reddit, the community. And I still don't think they're there yet. I think it's a good start. I think it's bullish that eventually these people will start entering the space. But I still think that they hate it.
Yeah,
if I have to be honest with you.
Yeah.
What else? Yeah, what else we got to talk about here? Let's turn some music on. I'm starting to run out of steam on my vocals here.
Go check your DM. I just wanted to show everybody what we were talking about earlier in the show. You can bring it up on the screen, nice and big.
Is this drugs?
All right, cop, relax. This is the perfectly legal Liz by Squints. I just packed a big old bong bowl with the Liz. That's the bag that it comes in. I believe that's Liz Taylor. And I will be enjoying some live on the air.
Try it. I like your little lemon sticker there.
I made those. Those are mine. The lemons did certainly make their own stickers, but of all the NFTs I love, I use a company called Rockin' Monkey to get stickers made. They do amazing holographic stickers. Oh. Oh my God. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the Liz.
I walk away for 20 seconds. I need more coffee. And all I hear from the other room is just somebody dying live.
Boy, if this is dying, everyone should go out. Woo! Oh, that's good.
Good for you.
So, NFTs. Meme Land is obviously very close to minting. They tweeted some cryptic stuff out earlier. Now, were you a listener of this show, you've had the inside information for a couple weeks, because I was able to bring you some leaks from deep within the gated channels of the MVP Discord. But we now know that a potato gives you the right to reserve a mint of a captain. Okay, if you guys aren't familiar, there are 3 NFTs from the 9gag group from Meme Land. That would be the potatoes, their first mint, a free mint that sits at a 1.6 ETH floor right now. It is up 0.3 since this morning, as people now speculate we are close to their second NFT, which are captains. Those are going to be minting soon. And of course, their ultra exclusive MVPs, which are a 420 NFT collection of gold Meme Land trophies that comprise a alpha room and club very similar to Proof with Moonbirds. They sit at a 30 ETH floor right now. Now, MVPs are guaranteed 1 mint. Potatoes are guaranteed a reservation. What does that mean? Now, if you have up to 3 potatoes, you can make 3 reservations. You are only guaranteed to get 1 of them. If the meme list, which is the whitelist for meme land, which is guaranteed to get a mint. I don't know how many they have on the meme list. They have not oversubscribed, but anybody on the meme list is guaranteed. You and the MVPs are the only ones who are guaranteed a mint of captains. The potatoes get everything that's left. Now, they've done the math so that if you have 1 potato, you're guaranteed at least 1 captain, but based on how many people reserve, you can get up to 3. I have not been this bullish on an NFT project in a long time. We talk a lot about Valhalla, Ether, and meme land on this show. They're the most high-profile mints coming up. Meme land is by far my favorite, though I have to say I get more bullish on Valhalla all the time. I was never not bullish. I was just confused at the opaqueness of what was going on. But meme land to me is special. Meme land has a coin launching, the meme token. I do think it can have legs and be an actual utility token with value that creators use. So based on their tweets this morning, this seems to be coming up soon. So if you've been watching Meme Land, wondering what's up, captains look like they're minting soon. 1 potato equals 1 captain guaranteed. That has sent the price roaring this morning. Volume is up 700% on the collection. They've gone from 1.3 to 1.6. I'd say guessing price is kind of hard here, right? We know captains will be more valuable than potatoes. Yet that's weird because it only costs 1.6 to get a potato right now. There are very few obvious plays in markets. If a meme land captain is going to be more valuable than a potato, that seems like a pretty obvious buy right now. The trophies, the MVP trophies, are at a 30 ETH floor. So if we think about Proof, which was at 100 ETH floor when Moonbirds minted, and Moonbirds got up to 1/3 of that. They got up to 35 ETH at their peak. Could captains get up to 1/10 of MVPs, which would be 10 ETH currently? That makes sense to me. Potatoes about 2 ETH or 3 ETH, captains 10 ETH, and MVPs at 30 to 50. That makes sense to me. Remember, these have held this floor with basically no news on the mint. Now that the news has come out and they're going to get the hype train going, I assume Web 2 marketing, increased Web 3 all the stuff that juices a mint and makes it hype. I expect that stuff to start picking up now. Put it on your radar. This one seems to be coming soon. So go check out the most recent
How
tweet.
long have these been in existence for?
Let's see. Potatoes.
No, the MVP is 4 months ago, June 17th.
I guess they came out same time as potatoes. They've only been given as prizes. So if you want a potato, this is very similar to Truth and what they were doing with goblins. But if you own a potato, you are entered in a raffle every week to win. They give away, I think, 3 potatoes and 1 MVP every week. I forget the exact numbers. So it's a raffle that they hold every week. All the MVPs have been given out that way. And yes, they maintain this 30 ETH floor. So you wonder, is it because the group, the gated area they get into is really that good? Or is it because they know the hype that is about to come? And, at the very least, you're going to see a higher price here. What are they at, 25 right now?
No, 32, but they don't move. That's the thing, right? Like, these aren't selling. And
No,
I don't know.
These don't sell, but quite frankly, neither did really the proof passes or whatever.
This is true. This is true.
So, again, this is one of those like exclusive club type of plays if you're looking at the MVPs. or whatever, and they are guaranteed a captain's mint. So we'll see. 10 ETH
Guys.
floor. I think it's very, very doable for the captains if they can start building hype. I mean, they have installed hype in a sense. Like, everyone knows this is one of the more high-profile mints, but Moonbirds ratcheted it up to another level in the last 2 weeks there. The last 2 weeks before their mint, it was the conversation, right?
Oh my God, it was guaranteed cook, and then like we were saying, oh, like this could get up to 7.5, 10 ETH, and like that was that feels aggressive to say, and like boy, were we even wrong about that.
Yeah,
35, 40,
right? So I do think Meme Land can do something very similar if they start ratcheting up hype now. So keep an eye on that one. That could be one of those things you buy right after it mints, because it can pull a Moonbirds. But that is to be assessed. We need to see what they do now over the next week or two as this mint comes into sight here.
What's the what's going on with Street Machine? What's the deal here?
There is a bit of controversy.
Good floor, reveal, fall.
They look good, but it was a manual reveal. So
This doesn't look good. This guy's eyes are. You could kick a football through that.
A Canadian football or an American football?
Well, the Canadian footballs are bigger, so yeah.
Okay, well. So this was a manual reveal, which obviously pissed people off because it takes a long time to manual reveal. So it was like a 3-day slow burn, which is the worst that,
Yes. So unexciting.
Yeah, exactly. You need boom, pop, shock and awe, flash. Like that's what people want so they could unload into volume. This was obviously disappointing in that regard. The art is take it or leave it, but this project was always more than that. When are they going to deliver the more? Will the floor price will reflect it? These and more on the next episode of the AlphaMint Show.
Is this your way of saying shut it down?
No, it wasn't. It was.
I was like, oh, I can take a hit.
Basically, I can't answer these questions for you. I don't own Street Machine. There are people who are more into the project who can tell you whether they think the game or whatever this is close, or whether it's going to cook, blah, 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 blah. That is yet to be seen, but that's your basic news. It was unfortunately for them a manual reveal, which let all the air out of the balloon.
I wouldn't be buying here. 0.1 floor, but like 24% listed. I think this is the collection that they're being revealed into. Am I getting this right? Like these are
they were 0.5, weren't they?
They got up, but so this is the, I think this is the pre-reveal version of it.
Yeah.
Right? Because this is older, and they absolutely were at average price of 0.5 very briefly. So they have fallen down a lot. There's still 5,400 to be revealed, I guess. That's the gist that I'm getting here. Volume very slow on the revealed one. 154 ETH trading. There's been 1,000 plus sales.
Yeah.
But yeah, look at, they're getting listed like crazy. Yeah, that's tough to say. I mean, I guess the unrevealed are always going to command a little bit higher than the floors on the revealed collection because you're baking in the possibility of a rare. But I mean, you get those weird kind of psychological thresholds where it's just like the revealeds are moving so slow, the price is dropping on them that like you might not even see the entire collection get revealed, right? And maybe that's a good thing, maybe it's not. But for a collection like this, like for Clonex, that held that interesting dynamic of the Murakamis still yet to be revealed, and the Grails and all of that stuff. But I don't think that this is going to hold the same kind of attention and hype like a Clonex would. This is a precarious situation for this collection to be in, I would say. And if you're bullish on the long-term prospect of it, I still think you can kind of do a holding pattern over this and wait. I would not be surprised to see that floor price continue to drop as the wind really coming out of the sails here, it seems like, just even looking at the analytics. The other thing I hate, and I don't want to get into the whole debate again, is that there's this 7.5% royalty on there. again, I think anything over 5 is just too high.
Yeah.
I just think I think it just discourages a little bit of action, and a project like this, I think, needs a little bit of price discovery involved in it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I could be wrong about that.
Quite a fall. Like, that is just quite a fall in price. I mean, and I just don't know enough about it. But shit, if I saw something at 0.5 that everyone said was the most hyped thing in the world, and it was at 0.1, I'd be like, that would be a buy. I think another issue is that they were overshadowed by Reddit. You know, this was the hottest project people were talking about at the time. Then Reddit comes and everyone forgot about it. There's probably a play there somewhere. For those who are inclined.
Maybe. I mean, the price, it's easy for the price to fall when the attention goes away, right? Like, it's just, all you need is a couple people just undercutting each other. The undercutters, I don't know, we can look at the floor. It's probably, I don't think it's very thin, though, with how many are listed here. It's probably pretty, I don't know. How many until 0.2?
Seems absurd to me, and I don't know anything about the project. It's just the people who I know who are hype about it, they don't get hyped over bullshit. And if it was trading, like, I'm not saying it goes back to 0.5. I'm saying for those who weren't in it, that seems like an easy double. Even I just like some news.
Yeah.
Right?
Web3 anime brand by Spencer G. Digging the style.
Yeah.
Not of the PFPs, but of the kind of art here.
I just got an email from Carvana that says you deserve spooky good financing. See what they're doing there? They're playing into the holiday. That's such great marketing. I just want to say, I bought Carvana at $19 in August. I sold it at $60 in September, and it's sitting at $15 a share right now. That was one of the better. I knew. I even said it when I sold it. I was like, I hope these don't go to zero, but oh boy, I was just playing. Like, the things that people hate, those are the things that snap back the hardest during the legs up. So I look for what I bought.
Never miss an opportunity to include Snap into one of your statements these days.
Exactly, Snap, because Snap's ripping. Look, I don't know if you've looked at markets recently, but the S&P is now above yesterday's high. Okay, we are.
Look at us go.
This is FOMO kicking because nobody was bullish until yesterday. All right, and that's what's crazy to me. Now you got the FOMO kicking in. We're going to peak either tomorrow, Friday, or early next week. The first week of November is going to be bearish. And here's the kicker. We've been rallying for 3 weeks on bad news. We're going to tank next week on good news. You're going to have the Fed coming out hinting at a soft pivot. You're going to have payrolls looking like interest rates didn't kill the job market. Then you're going to have a soft CPI, and we're going to be tanking. And everyone's going to be like, oh, why are we tanking? It's all good now. It's because the market's going to do the opposite of what you think it's going to do. And then as everybody starts going, well, we must be tanking because even though we got all that good stuff, there's still all the bad stuff. The bad stuff didn't go away. We're going down into it, blah, 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 blah. That's the moment we're going to reverse. Market's going to 4150. Everything's up. Fuck it. I'm done today. I'm too bullish. Set it down.
All right. Well, I was good to go for another 10 minutes.
All right, sir. I just asked if you wanted fries with your burger.
Yeah. This is a Wendy's. Oh my God, love it. Yeah. Wow. Look at that. I think we've touched on the topics. You guys are very quiet today. Like when you guys
are we talking to ourselves today?
Yeah. I forgot to hit the go live button.
I'm throwing all my energy at it today. It's nothing.
Well, no, it's all good. It's all good. It's a rainy Wednesday here in Canada land.
Still raining down here too.
You'll have what FMC's having. Well, he told you what he's having, so go out and buy it.
Go find it in a California dispensary near you.
Is that where Lincoln is?
No, I'm just saying you have to You have to go to California to legally acquire this, like I did. I flew there last night and flew back to acquire this bag of cannabis legally. It was not illegally imported across state lines for my That is a guarantee.
The admissions live on this show. Oh, God. Well, the good news is it's for entertainment purposes.
Yeah, it's just tobacco. This is all.
It's like that thing right now where they're pushing be like rap lyrics. They're trying to indict people on their lyrics. And like they made a song. You can't.
They tried that before. They've always tried that. And that's the great thing about
doing it. And the judge just shot it down. What was that?
I don't even own any NFTs. This has been a LARP the whole time. So, but we're good at it. I hope you get some good information out of the show.
I've been buying bonds for the last 6 years.
Ooh, I was hoping you were going to say the last 6 months. Then I'd be like, all right, you're probably going to make some money next year. The last 6 years. Oh, God.
No, I'm playing it safe, guys. I'm the most risk-averse person in the world.
Yes.
Volatility, hell no.
Having their worst performance ever in the modern era. Man, Liz just looking good today.
I need to log into my stock portfolio and do some tinkering, I think. Although, you know what? Because it's all just crypto exposure anyways. Just long MicroStrategy, long Ether, ETF.
Mm-hmm.
What else do I have in there? Palantir. I don't know. Are we still bullish on Palantir? Do we care?
Yeah.
Are we long surveillance state?
Okay, so if you guys want to know my big themes, okay, it's energy, which I'm using the Oil Services Trust to do. It's big cap technology, so give me your Amazons, your Apples, your Teslas, your Netflix. Pick which one you like. They will all go up in a general theme. It's up to you to figure out which one is alpha and which one is just going to follow the rest. I love Apple. I love Tesla. Those are my two favorites, but pick your favorite. So big cap tech, gold mining. Boy, am I bullish on gold. Newmont Mining, Pan American Silver. Those are two great mining companies. Though that's another theme that I love. My absolute, above all else, all favorite theme, biotechnology. Okay, I think biotech is about to have the decade everyone thought it was going to have last decade. I love taking a gamble on some of the smaller companies that have very binary outcomes. They're either going to go to 0 or to 1 million, something like TRDA, which is FDA approvals coming up. But safest way to play is with something like the IBB, which is an ETF that tracks all biotechnology. Those are my 4 favorite themes. Within crypto, of course, it's Matic and XRP. I don't know why I got into that. Oh, Palantir. Maybe Palantir fits into the big cap tech team. I don't hate it. The stocks that I'm avoiding are the Cathy stocks, okay? It's anything that's in the ARK ETF, not even because I think it's going to go down more, but because I think those stocks are doomed to go sideways for a year or two, and there are some of them that will go out of business that never should have been there to begin with. So
she just went on a buying spree, actually.
Yeah.
She just rebought Coinbase.
Yep. So there, like I said,
get your fund manager selling the absolute bottom and then rebuying.
Yeah. And there's actually 3 or 4 stocks within Cathy that I like. But in general, I think the ARK ETF goes sideways to down over the next year or two. And then in a year or two, those are going to be the stocks we want to shop in. But for now, I believe the next cycle, both in crypto and traditional markets, is about a flight to quality. Okay, so why do I love big cap tech? They're going to have the best free cash flow going forward. And I think free cash flow is going to have a big premium on it in a rising interest rate world. So I've heard that sentiment a lot. So I love companies that are a couple companies reported this morning and actually missed pretty bad on earnings and revenue, but they absolutely doubled what they expected to take in free cash flow. That would be Boeing and the other one just slipped my mind. But guess what? They're going to be up. Even if they're not up right now, I didn't check Boeing's price. It may actually even be reacting positively to it. But those are the stocks I want to own. I want to own quality names, because in a rising interest rate environment, that's where the money is going to flow into. And I mean quality names within each theme. So obviously we have energy. Obviously we have biotech. Obviously we have big cap technology. Look for quality within those. Same within crypto. We've talked about true DeFi like Aave or Curve or Uniswap. Now, these aren't going to be your 1000Xs, but at the beginning of the next cycle and during this mini cycle we go through, I think that's what people are going to flock to. So that is my general theme. And I do think Palantir generally falls into that category. So
Boeing down 1.5% today. There you go.
Yeah, I'd fade that. I think Boeing is a buy. Trade free cash flow. Clap. I'm done.
Nailed it. All right, 11 o'clock. Let's wrap this up.
Do it.
Feeling good, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hour and a half. We that was just a stream of consciousness show today. Like I said, feeling a little bit under the weather, and honestly, kind of a slow news-ish day. It was like looking a lot around for like crypto news, NFT news. Didn't seem crazy since Monday. I'm sure there will be some stuff to talk about by Friday, though. So always really exciting. I hope everybody has a great Wednesday. We always appreciate you tuning in to the show. For anybody that's left here listening, if you want to do us a solid and hit the like button on the YouTube page, that would be pretty peachy, pretty swell of you. But no sweat if you don't. Getting some new subscribers, actually some good viewers today too. I think we're almost back at 20. Those are some nice numbers to be hitting in this market. So yeah, appreciate everybody's time, love, energy, etc., etc. We will be back on the air at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time on Friday. Should be a good show. Don't know what we're going to be talking about yet, but make sure you guys show up. Chat. Those are the best shows, honestly. Like, are they not though? Like when people start talking and we just start reacting to what people are saying, always have some great conversation with that. Also some good news. It's the end of the show and crypto is still going up, so the curse is over. On that note, guys, we will see you again on Friday. Free market. Always love being up here with you. Get us out of here.
Good luck at the tables, D-Gens.